Hello, this is Aaron Shoemaker, and I'm here with your biweekly update, and we're here again to talk to Linda Gates. We're going to follow up on our last conversation, which was the 2019 CMS final rule. In addition to the final rules we discussed last time, there is a section called Modernizing Medicare within the CMS final rule that talks about new services that become billable for us. This is really a step towards the future of how we're going to change the delivery of healthcare through teleservices, things like that. So Linda's going to talk to us about a few of those things today and give you a sneak peek. We promise to follow up with a guide on how to use these potential services, and we just ask that you hold off on those. We just educate now and hold off on using them until we come out with education for the group. Linda?
Great. Yeah, I think this was a big step for Medicare. You know, Medicare very rarely decides that they're going to reimburse for anything that's not face-to-face. That's one of their requirements for a billable service. Now, they've made exceptions for chronic care management, transitional care management, and here they go again, modernizing Medicare. So one of the things that they've asked, or that they approved, and this is effective January 1, all three of these, is a virtual check-in, is what they call it. So this is your interaction with the patient, and they left that undefined as to how it occurs via telephone, FaceTime, except that they want it to be real time. And so this would be, you know, when the patient is checking with you to see if maybe they need to be seen again. It is not billable if the patient's been seen in the previous 7 days, or if as a result of that interaction you schedule the next available appointment with them.
So if we had like a medication check-in in a month for a patient, or if we had an on-call service and we treated something over the phone, those kinds of things could potentially be approved here?
It is. That's the intent.
Great.
That's the intent. Another one that does not have to be interactive, and here too, they tried to leave technology as broad and undefined as possible, but they basically are calling this one the remote valuation of information, and they use the reference of store and forward. So think of the things that, you know, patients may, you know, send you data from their Apple Watch, you know, their blood pressure readings. They may take a picture of a skin rash and send it to you. That type of thing. It doesn't have to be live and interactive with the patient. It can be, they send it to you, you look at it later. Same situation. If they've not been seen in the previous 7 days, then you don't make a first available appointment with them. So that too would be billable.
So this could really encourage us to encourage our patients to bring us that data and get paid for the work that we do in interpreting that data. That's great.
Absolutely. And then the last one is a interprofessional consult. So in this situation, what they're really trying to do is acknowledge two different types of communications. The verbal communications you may have with a specialist, for example, and maybe you've called that specialist and said, could you look at Miss So-and-so's report? So they're acknowledging that you can have that interprofessional consultation if what you're doing is reviewing a chart in a shared EHR, for example. So that too, they're opening up for reimbursement.
And in this case, the person being consulted would be the person who drops the bill, correct?
Correct.
And then I know you wanted to mention with all three of these services, while it's all good news, there's a little bit of a catch to start with.
There is, and that's the piece we're going to need to work on a little bit. But Medicare is very intentional about saying that each one of these three services, and each time that it's billed, we have to obtain the patient's consent first. There was concern about the fact that there would be patient cost sharing, and they wanted that to be clear. So there were a lot of comments there where the commenters said, but why would we do it each time?
Right.
Why couldn't we just say, you know, here's my consent for virtual visits? Medicare says no, each time.
Well, thank you, Linda. I think that it's a great step towards where we're going and helping all of our clinicians understand that. Just as with chronic care management codes, those have loosened up after initial tight regulation, and we think that'll happen with these codes, and this will be part of what we do in the coming future. Thank you.